All right, so this is the last lesson for this unit, for this topic. Monday we'll review. Tuesday is the test. Reasonableness. Okay. Here's my opinion and my stance on reasonableness. There are two types of questions that are going to ask you about reasonableness. Some of them will make sense, and some of them are like, dude, seriously? And I'll show you what I mean by this. So here's what the book is asking us to do about reasonableness. It says, Karen glued sequins onto her project. She used 7 rows with 28 sequins in each row. How many sequins did Karen glue in all? Okay, so I'm going to answer 7 times 28. Okay, I'm going to break it apart to 7 times 20 and 7 times 8. 7 times 2 is 14. Add on that 0. 7 times 8 is, add it up. 0 plus 6 is 6. 4 plus 5 is 9. And then the 1. So 7 times 28 is 96. That's my answer. Hooray. But what the book wants us to do next is to check its reasonableness. And to check its reasonableness, I'm now supposed to redo this problem, but round it like I've been doing and make it 7 times 30, which is basically 7 times 3 is 21. Add my 0. And 210 is pretty close to 196. So yes, my answer is reasonable because my answer is correct. So when it's asking you to do something like this, when it asks you to solve the problem first and then check the reasonableness, I say, yeah, thanks, but no, because that's a waste of my time. I have done the work. I know it. Now, if I'm unsure, this is why I break it apart, so I can do it bit by bit. I don't need to round it and get a different answer and go, oh yeah, it's close. No, I don't need to spend my time on that. Now, there could be maybe a problem or 4 on your test that look like this. What would be a reasonable answer for 7 times 28? And your answer choices would look like this. You don't have to write this down, but just watch. Your answer choices could be A, 196, because, BC means because 7 times 30 is 210. And then it could say B, some other number, because it might say 7 times 40 is 280. And then it could give you some other random number, because 7 times 20 is 140. Or it could be D, because 8 times 30. You see where I'm going with this? So it will be giving you these choices. And basically what you have to know is that this number, the amount of groups, should never change. So the minute you see not a 7, cross it off. It's gone. And then you just have to know, okay, well, rounding 28 could be rounded to 30. So your answer choice would be A, because 7 times 30. So it would keep saying 196 here. And then it would just change its rounding part. Okay? So really all you're doing is figuring out which answer choice here shows the correct rounding for your problem. And that's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. So we never change the groups. We never change the amount of groups. We can round how much is in each group. So that's the main focus. But other than that, guys, it's going to ask these questions. We're going to be seeing these later on. It's going to ask these questions. Did you answer the right question? How do you know it's reasonable? Because I did the math and I took my time and I put everything nicely and neatly organized in the boxes, that's how I know I did it right. And yeah, I know it's reasonable. Okay? So that's my opinion on it. With that being said, this is just basic break apart multiplication. That's all we're doing to solve these. And sometimes we have to do a little more. That's why this is a problem solving one. So we're understanding what it's asking us to do. So if I look at number 1, it says a fish store has 8 empty tanks. After a delivery, the store put 41 fish in each tank. How many fish were in the delivery? Well, lucky me, I have a picture here that tells me exactly what I need to do. I see 41 8 times. So I just need to go, okay, well, 41 times 8 equals, I can break this apart into 40 times 8 and 1 times 8. Well, what's 8 times 4?
32.
32, and I add on, how many? 1 0. What's 8 times 1? 8. So now I add those up, 320. There are 320 in all. And there's your answer.
328.
Ah! 328. 328. But see, that's a mistake if you start to rush through it. I was ready to go on to the next one because this was such a simple problem that I actually just made the mistake of forgetting to add it because I was ready to move on because in my head I had completed it. So even I still have to check myself to make sure I'm not rushing through my work or going too fast because that's where mistakes are made. Okay, skipping 2, skipping 3. 4 and 5 are kind of put together. It says, Dawn's Spanish teacher ordered 20 Spanish CDs for her class. If each CD costs $9, what will the total cost be? So I am doing 20 times 9. Well, what's 2 times 9?
18.
And how many zeros are there? 1. So 180. The next question is, did you answer the right question? Pretty sure I answered what you told me to answer. Is your answer reasonable? Pretty sure I know how to do this, and yeah. Especially when 20 is already 20. There's no rounding. So, yeah. This is where you have to be like, okay, whatever, moving on. And don't dwell on it. Don't, just... you've noticed a few times already that there are lessons that I'm going to teach it a little differently than what the book says. So really, for the rest of these, this is just looking at charts and figuring out what the missing number is through multiplication or addition or subtraction or all the above. Okay? So if I'm looking at this data chart right here of a plane and how high it goes each second, number 6 says, how high will the plane be after 5 seconds? So I notice that each second it goes up 400 feet. So I'm skip counting by 400, but I'm going to make it a little easier on myself and just make it 4s. If I see this, 4, 8, 12, 16, what's next? 20. I also notice that 1 times 400 is 400. 2 times 400 is 800. 3 times 400 is 1200. 4 times 400 is 1600. So for number 6, my answer is 2000. Number 7 is asking me, what number sentence can you use to solve problem 6? Well, I just said it. 5 times 400 equals 2000. And then number 8. Did you answer the right question? Pretty sure there was only one question you asked me, dude, so I think I did. Number 9. Is your answer reasonable? Pretty sure there's no more rounding that can be done here. So yeah, it's reasonable. Okay? So you are going to do 10 and 11 on your own. You don't need to do 12. And then you're moving on to the back. And you're going to do 13, 14 on your own, not 15, and then 16, because 15 is just saying, is it reasonable? And you're going to be like, yeah, duh, thank you. And then you're doing 17 through 20 on your own, okay? After that, you're moving on to your daily Common Core. Now, there's something I want to point out to you. This right here is a trick question. It is messing with you, so pay very close attention, because it's telling you right here that his answer is not reasonable, which means it's not correct. So you have to figure out, because the first time you read it, it sure does look like it's correct. You have to figure out why it isn't. And I'm telling you, it is not correct. You have to figure out what it is, okay? So pay very close attention. Here's a clue.
Yeah, I know.
Things that you need to think about, okay?
All the way to...
All right. Coolio,